The sound of the slap echoed through the grand ballroom like a gunshot. Crystal chandeliers trembled above silk gowns and black tuxedos as hundreds of wealthy guests gasped in disbelief. A poor maid in a simple orange uniform had just struck one of the most powerful billionaires in the city, right across his face. In that frozen second, no one knew that her hand had not risen in anger, but in desperation. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of courage, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs inspiration, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that heroes don't always wear crowns, they sometimes wear aprons. Her name was Amara. She was only 22, working double shifts to support her sick mother and two younger brothers. That night, she wasn't supposed to be anywhere near the center of attention. She was assigned to quietly refill glasses and clear plates at the annual charity gala hosted by billionaire tech mogul Daniel Lawson. The ballroom glittered with diamonds and designer suits, a world far removed from Amara's cramped apartment and unpaid hospital bills. Amara had learned long ago how to move invisibly through rooms like that, eyes down, steps soft, presence unnoticed. But invisibility sharpens observation, and what she noticed that night would change everything. As she weaved between guests, she saw a man she didn't recognize lingering near Mr. Lawson. The stranger wore an expensive tuxedo, but something about him felt wrong. His eyes didn't smile when his lips did. His movements were stiff, deliberate. Amara's stomach tightened when she saw the faint metallic glint beneath his jacket as he shifted. She had grown up in a rough neighborhood. She knew what a concealed weapon looked like. Her heart pounded so hard she could barely breathe. She looked around for security, but the guards were focused on the stage where Daniel Lawson was about to make a speech. The mysterious man slowly edged closer to the billionaire, who stood laughing among investors, completely unaware. Amara had seconds to decide. If she was wrong, she would lose her job. She might even be arrested. Who would believe a maid over a room full of elites? But if she was right and stayed silent, a man would die in front of her eyes. The stranger's hand slipped inside his jacket. Without thinking, Amara ran forward. Just as Daniel Lawson turned slightly, she raised her hand and slapped him with all the force she had. The crack rang across the hall. Champagne glasses froze mid-air. Music stopped. Faces twisted in outrage. Security lunged toward her instantly. Someone shouted for her arrest. Daniel staggered back, stunned, his cheek reddening. For a heartbeat, the armed man hesitated, shocked by the sudden chaos. That hesitation was enough. One of the security guards noticed the weapon as it partially slipped into view during the commotion. Within seconds, the stranger was tackled to the ground. A loaded gun skidded across the polished marble floor. Screams filled the ballroom. Amara stood shaking as two guards grabbed her arms. Tears blurred her vision. She hadn't planned it. She hadn't wanted attention. She had simply reacted. Daniel Lawson slowly turned toward her, realization dawning as security restrained the would-be attacker. The room shifted from fury to stunned silence. Instead of ordering her removal, Daniel did something no one expected. He raised his hand, signaling the guards to release her. He walked toward Amara, studying her trembling face. In that moment, the billionaire and the maid stood eye to eye, two lives from opposite ends of society, connected by one act of courage. He had spent years surrounded by people who admired his wealth, but this young woman had risked everything to protect his life. The investigation that followed confirmed it. The attacker had been hired by a business rival. The slap had disrupted his precise timing by mere seconds. Without it, Daniel Lawson would likely have been shot at close range. News of the incident exploded across media platforms. Maid saves billionaire headlines spread worldwide. But fame did not erase Amara's fear. She worried constantly about losing her job. She worried about retaliation. She worried about how to pay her mother's medical bills if she were blacklisted from work. A week later, she was summoned, not to be fired, but to Daniel Lawson's private office. She entered wearing the same modest uniform, hands clasped nervously. The office overlooked the city skyline, a breathtaking view she had never imagined seeing from above. Daniel stood by the window, thoughtful. He told her that he had built his empire by recognizing value others overlooked. And what he saw in her was something rare: courage without selfishness. He had reviewed her employment file and learned about her family's struggles. Quietly, without press releases or cameras, he had already paid her mother's hospital debt in full. Amara broke down in tears. But he did more than that. Instead of offering her a one-time reward, he offered her education. He would sponsor her college tuition in business management if she wished. He told her the world needed more leaders who acted from the heart rather than ego. Amara accepted, though the path wasn't easy. Transitioning from maid to student felt overwhelming. She faced whispers from classmates who knew her story and doubted she belonged. She battled insecurity daily. Yet every time she felt small, she remembered that split second when she chose courage over fear. Years passed. Amara graduated with honors. She eventually joined Daniel Lawson's company, not as a maid, but as part of the executive team focused on community outreach and employee welfare. She became a fierce advocate for fair wages and educational opportunities for workers from disadvantaged backgrounds. The billionaire who once stood protected by wealth now stood inspired by humility. And the maid who once moved unseen through ballrooms now walked confidently into boardrooms. What shocked everyone most was not the slap. It was the transformation that followed. One impulsive act of bravery bridged two worlds. One courageous decision rewritten the future of an entire family. And one billionaire learned that greatness is not measured by net worth, but by the lives we uplift. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of humanity's goodness. Your engagement helps these powerful messages reach more people. And before this story ends, I have a special request. Comment the word courage below if you believe that even the smallest act of bravery can change a life. Because sometimes, the most powerful hands in the room are not the ones wearing diamond rings, but the ones willing to rise when everyone else stands still.